guest on the program tonight as we dissect the takeaways from the Edo election petition tribunal. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program, Mr. Oshoma. In the course of this conversation, we've talked about how INEC must also do its part in regaining the trust of the people. Anambra governorship election is just some months away. And I mean, if you remember clearly, during the Edo State governorship election, we talked about or we witnessed delay in the collation of results. Edo people had to wait till the next day for collation and announcement of election results. I'm wondering, why did we have to go through this challenge despite reforms in the use of technology for elections?
You see, it is the pressure we put on election processes here. Almost everything has collapsed in Nigeria, and the only sustainable industry now is politics. So everybody wants to be a politician. Everybody wants to go into politics. And so once elections approach like this, every other thing would take the back. And so there's pressure politicians will outdo, and also they are not from the mass, they also amount to outdo each other. So that's why there's so much pressure, when once there is politics. And so politicians are also looking for a way to maneuver. And that's why I believe that we have to consistently find a way to deploy, technology that will not have human interference. Once there are no human interference in the process, no matter the pressure from politicians, the process will run seamlessly. But once there are human interferences, you are continually going to have this, massive pressure. And then INEC trying to change position, INEC trying to outsmart the politicians, at the same time the politicians trying to outdo one another. So it's a cat and mouse game, and that's why.
But really, considering our peculiarity as a nation and the kind of people, that make up or constitute what we call Nigeria, would that even work for us? Is it realistic? Is it achievable for us to achieving electoral integrity?
Yes. First and foremost, that's why I always admonish politicians to align with the people, to fulfill their promises and align with the people, through their fulfillment of their promises, through their plans and programs, by ensuring that good governance, the people will naturally, when the people naturally, gravitate towards you, you won't need, no matter the pressure, you won't need to begin to manipulate the process. And so it will be very, very obvious. And that's the first step. But a situation where the politicians want to do everything by hook or by crook, and then the society also is not, we also have people who are not up and doing, and everybody wants to make it through crooked means. You're going to have this. Such scenario. Let me give you this same Edo State. When in the 2020 election in Edo State, that the PDP won Godwin Obaseki's second term, the APC, the governorship candidate, said he wasn't going to go to tribunal because in that election, you could see that the people actually came out to support the then governor. But that same governor, at the end of the day, he took the support for granted and frittered away the goodwill. And then election came. It was almost as if he was the one facing the subsequent election. And then the people also who had hitherto supported him said, look, we're not going to support you again. And so it became a strong divide. You saw even his deputy, he had a running battle with his deputy. You saw him in court today. So against that backdrop, now, you saw him, behaving as a candidate at the INEC office, so all of these things, if he had consistently allowed democracy to prevail from the primary process and then through his plans and programs, which is what I will admonish this current governor to do also, align with the people, forget whatever anybody is saying, ensure that those people that voted you into office, you fulfill your promises to them. At the end of the day, you wouldn't have to, begin to jump from one tribunal to another. Also, in the same vein, I think it was 2016 election that brought Oshomole's second term. At that election, you saw how Edo overwhelmingly also supported the second term ambition of Oshomole against General Charles Ahari, because they could relate with his plans and program. That's the best way. That's one of the best way the politicians can silence opposition. And then there'll be less pressure on INEC. There won't be so much noise. And I will admonish the federal government also to do the same thing. So we take away the pressure from the umpire and then de-emphasize the importance of the umpire. When all the umpire will now have to do is to improve technology a little bit. And, all the process, all of this heat and all of this tension will not be there. Because we have to, while we're talking about INEC, we also have to admonish the politicians who consistently, like Eleke the bird, I'll be the hunter this time, are looking for a way to ensure that they consistently remain relevant and maintain victory.
Absolutely. Before I let you go tonight, this is a new development and we'll continue to monitor what happens in the coming days. But before I let you go, what more reforms do you think we need to make our electoral process better? Yeah,
I also want to, this idea of election petition, the governorship election petition is the only election petition that moves in 3 stages, across 3 stages. All others are 2 stages. So at this stage, since we have cured the mischief of having conflicting judgment from the various court of appeal, I think governorship election petition, just like the presidential election petition, should start at the court of appeal and terminate at the Supreme Court. It shouldn't start at the tribunal, the election petition tribunal, and terminating at the Supreme Court, because terminating at the court of appeal, like the House of Rep is currently trying to do, because you're going to return us back to that mischief that we cured when it was now taken to the Supreme Court. That's one of such a reform. The second reform is that the INEC register, we need to consistently update INEC register, to the extent that we can, the voting process we can even start voting even before the D-Day for voting, where people, all you need to do, I don't like NBA election. We vote online. I don't need to be at the polling unit or gather in one place where everybody will come and vote. We can deploy technology to use our smartphones, and then people can look at the process, online as voting is taking place. We can sit down here and monitor the American election. But how come we're still waiting for INEC to declare result at the end of the day? Even the lawyers, I will not tell you that the election we conduct online, that lawyers still do not dispute it. But to a very large extent, they've been able to streamline the process that if the result eventually announced, we already see it, we monitor it online. We all have unique numbers. We have our unique, voting cards and numbers. And so we can make these processes, less cumbersome and de-emphasize this election petition tribunal altogether. All
right, greatly to lead the conversation. Constitutional lawyer Liborous Oshoma, thank you so much for your time with us tonight and for always, bailing us out of this political and legal quagmire. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views or reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Meanwhile, you can watch the repeat broadcast of this at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X.